very critical for us to be understanding the dynamics of the international market and the stock. So let us now switch on to a session that will explore how the global trends, the economic shifts, and the emerging markets influence our investment decisions. So whether you are an investor seeking for the next big opportunity, or a founder who is eyeing an international growth, or someone of an operator navigating the volatile market, this session will definitely decode the complexities and uncover the opportunities to thrive in a boundless financial world. And this session on the stocks and international market will be moderated by Mr. Abdul Latheef Sheikh, the Senior Research Fellow in Economics at JNU. And his areas of interest include capital markets, stock markets, and open economy macroeconomics. Mr. Abdul Latheef Sheikh, can we kindly have you join with us to moderate the upcoming session? And he shall be joined by the very graceful, the very powerful CEO of NXG Market, Ms. Sara Ahmadi, with over 20 years of experience in running a forex company-wide operational functions and leading large-scale projects within financial institutions. Thank you so much, ma'am. Kindly be seated. And the last one to be joining this session is the General Manager of Delta Academy of Trading, an expert in risk management and forex psychology. So let us all put our hands together to be welcoming the last panelist for this session, Mr. John Joy Panackal. Thank you so much, sir. Kindly take your seat. And with that, may I hand over the charge to you, sir. Kindly take over.
Hello. Yeah. Very good afternoon to all. So I'm extremely happy to be here with this panel. So my name is Abdul Latheef. I'm a Senior Research Fellow in Economics at Jawaharlal Nehru University. Simultaneously, I'm also an Assistant Professor at University of Delhi. And today we are having with us in this panel Ms. Sara Ahmadi, who is Chief Executive Officer of NXG Market, and who is having a rich experience in entire finance, which is spanning across 2 decades, and who is also a graduate from Middlesex University, UK. And also, welcome, Sara. Also, we are having with us John Joy, who is a General Manager at Delta Trading Academy. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
All right. So, having said that, to get things started, to set the tone for the discussion, I can actually give you a couple of statistics. Since the panel will be discussing stocks and international market in a very brief time, if you look at a couple of the statistics around the world, take United States an example. There are nearly 60% of United States population, they are participating in capital market, in the stock market per se. But whereas if you take the same statistics in Indian case, it's actually less than 10%. So India being a developing country in comparison to a developed country like United States, where 60% of their population is participating in capital market, whereas actually it's less than 10% in India. So thanks to this technology and fintech companies and organization and increasingly penetration of this globalization, now what we are seeing is the global markets and participation of the people in the global market is actually getting increased day by day. So having said that, let me just come to Ms. Sara. So what would you take maybe for somebody who wants to understand the global market? So how would you actually direct them to get things started with the global market?
First of all, let me thank you all for coming here.
We also reached very late yesterday. And thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Latheef, for giving us this opportunity today to meet all the Kerala people. I really like the city. Actually, nowadays, with expanding the financial firm all around the world, expanding the trading in the stock market all around the world, and the globalization of financial market, and expanding the economy of the India also. I'm seeing so many Indians, mainly from like developed country and underdeveloped country like India, China, Brazil, South America, South Africa. They are more into trading stock. They are looking for widely, globally, to find a stock and trade. Not only stock, all other financial products globally. So I see many Indians also, they cross the border to enter to the global market. They are trading with other global markets, other global products, not only individually. I see so many other companies also. They're entering in world global market. I see so many Indian companies, brokers. They enter in NASDAQ also, in London stock market, in Hong Kong stock market. It's not like now people and companies, they cross the border. They are acting more global. They are acting more widely.
Thank you so much. That's actually quite interesting observation, Sara. To John, actually, I'm curious to know, you see, we for Indians, we are having a market which is actually quite appealing. We are having lots of opportunity for somebody who is looking for even be it trading or investing. Indian market is actually giving you lots of opportunities. So despite having that fact, what do you think we as Indian, we should also diversify our investment portfolios across the globe? What would your take on that?
Sure, Abdul. Before starting my session, I would like to know how many non-Malayalis are there in this session. Can you just raise your hands, non-Malayalis? That is just one, okay. Two, done. So we'll mix it with English and Malayalam. Talking about the global markets and involvement of Indians to the global markets, it's very defined also. See, before going into the global markets, we should understand is that the capital all the Indian retail trading segment is having. Let's say it start with maybe it's less than 1 lakh or 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs. But there are products or mutual funds which can be also exposed with the same equity. For example, how many of you have heard about iShare ETF, BlackRock ETF, MicroStrategy ETF? So if you have invested in 2020 in any of these ETFs, you would have already got 5 times returns, which means if you have invested 1 lakh into iShare ETF back in 2020, it would have been already 5 lakhs by this time, which is a good performance when we compare to our in-house mutual funds. So there are different products which the Indian community is not having reached to. The basic or the main issue is due to the funds, but there are certain products which we can also avail. See, all this comes, why? Because there is no proper education in terms of when it comes to the finance. Like if you are trying to recognize one of the main institutions that is giving educations, we can see that there are self-learned gurus, entrepreneurs who proclaim that they are traders, and we tend to follow them rather than going to an NSE. How many of you know that there is a free course by NSE that explains everything starting from A to Z of stock marketing? But we just go to Instagram or let's say YouTube and try to learn it from these social media platforms rather than reading a book. Like another question to the audience, how many of you have read about what is investing in a book? Or how many of you have read about financial investments, likewise the books? How many of you can I see some raised hands? Again, very few. But we all are very enthusiastic to learn about these platforms, but we never reach out to the right platforms. So there are different products that obviously the Indians should reach out to, especially when the US elections came, when the results were out. We could have seen there is a sudden decline in the Indian market. Even the gold fell, the BTC was shoot up all high. So if you were a gold trader, you could have made money by selling. If you're a BTC investor also, you could have made money. So these are alternate investments or ETFs which you should also approach. And diversification is very important in this world. Why? Because Indian market is supported by FIAs, and the major of these FIAs come from the US. So if you are following US, it is likewise very similar that if you follow US, you can see the same waves
Yeah,
back
John,
in India also.
actually, that's a great valid point. I really appreciate it. I mean, since considering the diversity of the audience, I don't think not everybody is an expert in finance. Let's keep it somewhat from basic to an intermediate, not getting to an advanced level per se. So I would also, I mean, since you have set the tone for that, you see somebody who is participating in the international market. For this particular session, we would be more oriented towards an equity perspective, not into some crypto or forex, because we may have a separate session for that. So for this limited time period, we'll be focusing on the equity space. So that is a great point. I would also be interesting, you see, Sara, since you are having a rich experience in these areas, somebody who wants to get into the international market, be it in trading or investing, you see some recent geopolitical events, be it US election or some trade policies or some US policy, or be it Donald Trump who is coming to power, which is actually a huge repercussion in entire market, not only in United States but everywhere, since everything is interconnected. So how would you see that phenomena, and how would also you direct somebody who wants to get into the international market, I mean, considering all these points?
Okay, well, it was a good point. Thank you, Abdul Latheef. With the globalization of the financial industry, so now all the markets are related. US market is related to London market related to China, Hong Kong, India, all markets are related. And as you see nowadays, company in India, they have a share in London. Company in London, they have a share in Hong Kong. And company in Hong Kong, they have a share in US. And all countries and all the stock are globally related to each other. So anything happen in one country, definitely it will affect in all other countries. If there is an election, presidential election in US, that will affect London stock market. If there is a crisis in UK, which we had crisis a few months ago, definitely it will affect India market. And India market, if there is some kind of election or if there is kind of crisis happen in any part of the world, definitely it affects the other part of the world. So in this way, all markets are related. And the crisis in one market, war in one market, it will affect other markets. And as you see nowadays, we have a war in the Middle East. And Middle East is having some revolution. So unfortunately, due to that, gold prices, it jumped a lot. As you can see, oil prices also.
So Sarah, adding on to what you have mentioned actually, since when you consider the global market as a whole, though we have some sort of bias looking a lot towards the US market, though it has a huge influence in the global market. So now what we are having is something called as globalization 2.0, which is actually characterized by the power being shifted from the west towards the east. If you look at the statistics for the last 30 years, China is actually becoming an emerging power. For the last 30 years, they are having the highest growing economy over the world. And if you look at some other East Asian countries, not only some West or European or UK, US, there are very interesting economies. They are growing a lot, especially in the East Asian countries, West Asian countries, some Latin American countries. All these emerging economies are also becoming a very interesting thing for somebody who is looking for some investment opportunities. Maybe because of the rapid expansion, globalization, growing middle class base. So how would you see that that emerging economy theme when it comes to the global investing?
Actually, I feel the Western country, they feel, I mean,
Excuse
they
me,
reach to
ma'am.
the
Sorry for interrupting. Can you kindly pull the mic a bit closer?
Yeah, sure.
A bit more. Thank you, ma'am.
I feel Western countries, they reach to the maximum potential of investors they can have. Now all the investments is moving to the, as you said, to Eastern country, to Middle East and Eastern country. As you see now, there's also Russia, they issued a currency, it's called BRICS. This BRICS might make a revolution in all financial market, not only like Asia market, even in Western market. I feel our attention, all financial growth will move to the Asia, will move to the Middle East and Asia. And nowadays I see the economy in India also is growing very fast. Like I see so many brokers, so many companies, so many financial companies. They're moving to India, to China, to Hong Kong, to the Middle East, and I see too much of success in these countries. So many new stocks, so many new brokers, so many new companies, they're coming to this side of the world and attracting more investors. So I feel this part of the world will have very good and bright future very soon.
Thank you so much, Sara. That's a quite valid point. I'm also a bit curious now because we are having a very diversified crowd here. I don't think not everybody will be participating in the global market. Obviously, there will be many people who are really interested in trading or investing in the global market and who do not have a sufficient knowledge about it. They're actually curious to learn and they are a bit clueless where to start from. So I would actually like Mr. John to speak a bit about somebody who is absolute beginner, who want to get into some trading and investment in the global market. How would you direct them to get started with?
Okay, talking about an investor or a trader who wants to start their trading career or let's say investment career, first you should analyze is what is your risk reward. Okay, so how much risk you can put forward. Let's say capital, let's say 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, or even $100,000. You should understand how much risk you can actually pull out. See, that is where you'll understand whether you have to go for investing or you have to go for trading. And when it comes to trading, so you have to learn that if you're into the global markets like Forex, you're actually trading in something called CFDs. That is leveraged products. Same like what we are doing in options and futures. So there are different kind of terminologies, different jargons that you should learn. So as a beginner, you should don't start with a YouTube or Instagram or not even with an academy. Even I do represent an academy. I never tell you that to start with an academy. Instead, start with a book. There are several books that is written from past 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. One of the best ones are written by Mr. Eliot. John Murphy is there, or you can even refer with Japanese candlestick, the Japanese Bible. That is something that you should start with. So going through this book, you will understand that what actually this market is, what are the risks involved in, and what are the returns. Then once you have a thorough reading, then you go for some free courses. Let's say you can refer NSE website. There are tons of courses starting, even free courses are there, 4,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. Then once you go through that, then you will have a strong base. What is this market? How to trade? What is the capital you should have to trade? What is the mindset you should have to trade? So these are the basic steps you should follow. And finally, only then you play with the real money. Then initially you start with stocks. You go for swing trading. That will be less riskier. Then only you go for leverage products, whether it is Forex or CFDs. So basically, before you start trading, we have to sum up that you have to go through a proper reading before you start trading. Yeah.
Thank you, John. That's actually quite interesting. If you want me to summarize it, what you have told in one line, before you start earning, you should start learning. That would be maybe one line, summarize it up. That's actually quite interesting. I'm also a bit, interested to know, Ms. Sara, when we look at the global investing, there are investors who are having different kinds of philosophy in their investing. Some are value investors, some are growth investors, some are, theme-based investors. They cherry pick some themes which are going to be some emerging stories for the decades. Especially in Indian case, we are having some, very famous investor who just recently passed away. There are a lot of investors. Obviously, we all know who is Warren Buffett and all. So, what do you think if we want to pick some, emerging themes in the global investing? What would your suggestion be? Like some sectors, maybe some themes?
Nowadays, the most attention of the market is moving to the environment and governmental investment all around the world. And the majority of companies now, they're spending money on AI or on more technology part. As you see nowadays, you can access all the global market by one phone. You can see all the markets, all the instruments, including stock, cryptocurrency, and blah, 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 so many other products. You can see it on one mobile phone. You can trade all of them on one mobile phone very easily. without traveling to other countries to trade them. So many companies, they're providing AI also, they enter to the stock market. So many technology providers, they enter to the stock market. They added their product to the stock market. So you can easily go register and open an account with any broker, any companies, and access all the stock markets, all AIs, all technology companies, and you can buy their stock very easy, in very easy way. You don't need to travel all around the world to find those stock, to invest in that company and become part of investors. Simply sitting in your home country, start trading and be a part of the stock owner in other countries.
So actually we are running short of time a bit. We also be taking couple of question and answers from the audience. Before that, I may also would like to ask one question, Mr. John. See, in India, in Indian market, in the we call it stock market, the capital market of India. So we are having a capital market regulator who is called SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India. So in Indian scenario, many of us are actually quite equipped with the law and regulatory practices. And what would you suggest if somebody is actually looking to diversify his investment portfolio globally? There would be obviously some risk. So how to mitigate maybe some regulatory risk, volatility, and so on. So what would be your suggestion, since you are a risk management professional? Maybe a couple of suggestions.
Okay, see, there are two views in this sector. Okay, let's say when we are talking about a retail sector, let's say a retail client who has a trading capital of less than $100,000, these regulations are just a job. Let's say you're investing in any of the prominent brokers which are regulated in SCA, that is in UAE. You have an investment amount of $1,000. Okay, let's say the broker did a scam with you. How many of you can go and reclaim for this $1,000 to an SCA regulatory? Just to hire a lawyer, it will take you hundreds and thousands of dollars. So regulations are there on the one side, but when it comes to realistically to trading, that is not something that we should look into. Even though we say that the first thing that we should do or calculate while we are going to a broker is the regulation. See, your capital may be 100,000 or less than 100,000, but when you are going to trade and you lost your money, but you approach any of these regulators, it is very, very difficult. We can even take the example of SEBI. See, let's say some brokers again did some spread widening, overnight trading position got squared off. So it's very tough to reach out to the SEBI and get our refunds. So same happens with when it comes to, let's say, forex trading or foreign institutions. But if you are an institutional investor, there are different regulatory bodies. Same happens with the UA regulatory body also. You have $1 million deposit and you're going to trade. Obviously, government will be looking after your trades. Before even you start to invest in, for example, Bank of Singapore, if you want to invest, you need at least $1 billion in your hand. And you have to show the income proof that you have $1 million. So being a retail investor, it's still a big question what these regulators can help us with.
Thank you so much, John. So with that, I think we are actually running short of time. With your kind permission, I would like to open the floor for some question and answer if somebody from the crowd, if they are having.
Definitely.
Yeah, sure. Are there somebody who's having some doubts or some questions, some comments? Anything, they are welcome. Not necessarily a question. If you have some points to share with, that would actually enrich our discussions. You are welcome. For your kind information, Sara Ahmadi is actually a certified financial professional in United Kingdom as well as in United Arab Emirates, UAE. So she may not be that well versed in Indian setup. So when you are asking some question, please keep that in mind.
Excuse me. Actually, we have 4 more minutes for the session. It's only after the 4 more minutes, the Q&A session will open again. So I'm over here. I'm just saying we have 4 more session. 4 more minutes if you want to continue the session. No, I was saying actually we have this timer is for the session actually.
Achha,
so once the timer runs out, we will start up the Q&A session again.
All right.
Please
Thank you
continue.
so much. I thought it otherwise.
No worries.
Then we are having ample time. So just to summarize it up, you see, when we discuss about the stocks and global markets, be it trading or investing, so what I would suggest is, obviously, all of us would like to earn. Who is there somebody who don't like to earn? Who is there somebody who do not like making money? There is nobody, absolutely nobody. Everybody would like to earn. But the moment you start thinking about it, my humble suggestion, don't be too much greedy. So before you start earning too much, start learning, start investing in yourself. Before you start investing elsewhere, you start investing in yourself. It's actually learning comes first, then earning comes next. So it's actually learning, then you remove the L, then the earning comes. That should be the process. Obviously, in Indian setup, we have lots of, for somebody who is curious to learn, there are lots of resources, as John has pointed out. There are multiple ways to invest in the global market, not necessarily to be investing directly in the equities of global companies. There are multiple ways. If there is somebody who is a bit risk averse, who do not want to take a lot of risk, I would suggest they can actually participate in the global market through the mutual funds route. There are lots of mutual funds operating in India. They are actually regulated by SEBI, AMFI, which is the mutual fund regulatory. They are offering Indian investors to diversify their investment portfolio in United States or elsewhere in the global market. So if you invest in that mutual fund, part of their investment will go to the international companies in their stocks. So by that means, you will be able to have some global investment exposure before thinking too much about the individual company. So first takeaway would be you can actually participate in the global market with limited risk, taking the mutual fund route. There are lots of mutual fund houses, they are providing some international exposure. That would be one. Second would be you can take actually the ETF route. ETF, some of you many of you would be familiar with. It's actually exchange traded fund. There are some ETF, you must be aware of the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is actually a tech heavy United States stock exchange index. We have a NASDAQ. The companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, all these companies are actually listed in such exchanges. And if you want to invest in those NASDAQ high-tech giant companies, without directly investing in those companies, you can actually take that ETF route. There is one ETF called N100, which actually an ETF which you can purchase through Indian demat accounts from NSE or BSE. Investing in that ETF, which actually means you are also investing in those NASDAQ companies, because that actually gives you some exposure. So considering or comparing your risk appetite, if you are actually a risk, very much risk level, obviously with the risk comes the return. So if you are actually want to take a lot of risk, you can directly invest in those companies from around the world. For that, you need to actually open some, brokerage accounts with brokerage, which similar the way you actually open account in Indian capital market, be it some conventional brokers or be it some traditional brokers, whatever it is. There are other things like that. And in global market also, more or less the way is said. So one, you can actually take the ETF route, or you can take actually the mutual fund route, or you can also start investing directly in those companies from your own studies and analysis. Just to summarize it up, actually from the panel discussion, the key takeaway, you should actually start investing yourself before you are investing somewhere else. So it's actually learning which should come first before the earning comes. So unless you learn you being very greedy and jumping to the market, there would be some possibility that you might burn your finger. കൈ നമ്മളെ വിരൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ പൊള്ളിപ്പോവും. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ചിട്ട് ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാന്നാണ് അതിൻ്റെ അർത്ഥം. ജസ്റ്റ് ടു സമ്മറൈസ് ഇറ്റ് വാട്ട് ഐ ഹാവ് ആക്ച്വലി ഡിസ്കസ്ഡ് ആൻഡ് സാറ വാസ് ആൾസോ ടോക്കിംഗ് അബൌട്ട്. സോ വെൻ വി ആർ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റിംഗ് ഇൻ എ ഗ്ലോബൽ മാർക്കറ്റ്, വി ഷുഡ് ഓൾസോ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിംഗ് ദ ഗ്ലോബൽ ഡൈനാമിക്സ്, ബീറ്റ്സ് ജിയോപൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ ന്യൂസ്, ജിയോപൊളിറ്റിക്കൽ ഡൈനാമിക്സ്, ബിക്കോസ് നൗ വി ആർ ഹാവിംഗ് എ ഗ്ലോബലൈസ്ഡ് village. Something is happening in one country in the real time which will affect the other country, because there is no information gap. Everything is connected by the technology, and technology is actually improving day by day. So if you want to jump into this domain, you should learn, you should invest first, you should also be having some understanding of the global dynamics, then you should also train yourself, then you can actually comes to the investment domain or trading domain, then you can actually build a career in that. And just one more thing to conclude, just to add what Sara actually elaborated. So one emerging theme in the global investment nowadays, the many investors are talking about. There is one theme called as sustainability, because we are having a lot of problem nowadays, especially the climate change. We are having global warming year by year. The global warming is actually increasing. The warming is increasing, and also every companies around the world, they are actually encouraged to take up the practices which are more environmental friendly, and also to have products and services which are actually compliance with the best environmental practices. So if you are picking a couple of such themes, then that would be a good investment domain. Then one other could be something world is actually experimenting or more innovating towards the artificial intelligence, machine learning, these kind of things. I mean, each and every companies out there, organization globally out there, they are investing huge billions of dollars in order to enhance their capabilities and to improve their organization, aligning towards the artificial intelligence. So if you could pick up a couple of those companies, couple of those investment themes, I'm damn sure you would be able to make a hell lot of money maybe in the coming decades. And that's all. With that, we are actually winding up this session. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Yeah, I think now we can actually open the floor for the questions, right? Yeah.
Someone can give him my mic, please.
Hello. Okay. Hi, myself is Jalil, international trainer in AI. So I would like to ask my questions to Ms. Sara. Many youngsters are doing tradings. It's like more than investment. They are seeing like it as a fashion, like saying I am a trader, so and so. So what all suggestions you can say as a beginner do they have to start? Like obviously they have to study, they have to learn, that's true. But other than that, what they have to do at the beginning stage? Do they have to know about the geopolitical events, all those things? Secondly, my question is, while we talk about the international markets, mostly we talk about the US market. We have Hong Kong market, then also the Singapore market, many markets we have. We are not talking about that. So why it's so?
Thank you for your question. First of all, I will answer your first question. A part of education, of course, you said, of course you will do the education, but education is not enough. John, he explained about the education. Education is mandatory, but still updating with the news, still updating with the market, what's happening in all other side of the world, what's happening in the United States, what's happening to the Middle East. Follow the news. Market has a news, it published everywhere. That's the daily news, which is very fixed news, doesn't change. But there is some other news in the world, like what's happening in the Middle East. This is something new. It was unexpected thing happened in the Middle East. Like US election, everyone were thinking another person will win, but another person won the election. So these things have a major, whoever wants to enter to the financial market, become a trader in future, they have to update himself or herself with all things happening all around the world. This is about our first question. I hope I give the answer. The second of question, can you please repeat it again? Sorry.
It's about the international market. We are only talking about the US.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, US was a biggest market and the first market among the first market to provide the stock in the world. But now we have India stock market, we have London stock market, we have Hong Kong stock market. As Abdul Latheef said, all the attentions are moving to the Asian countries. So US stock market doesn't have that much of attention anymore. We are having more attention. And most importantly, at the moment, currently, US is a major currency of the world. Every deal is closed around the USD only. But what I mentioned earlier about the BRICS is a new currency coming to the world through by Russia. So very soon, all attention from US dollar will move to the BRICS. This is at least what we are expecting. India is part of the BRICS. Brazil is part of the BRICS. Iran is part of the BRICS. Pakistan, China, all other countries, Brazil, South America, South Africa, all countries are part of the BRICS. They are new developed countries, they are under development, and I think very soon we will have all attention this side. India has a great market, very nice economy globally. India is booming nowadays. India can do very well in very soon future. I will see. I really hope, and I'm sure we'll see India is growing very fast. Did I answer your question? Thank you.
എൻ്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ, ഞാനൊരു വെൽത്ത് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്ന ഒരാളാണ്. ഓക്കെ, ഒരു ഷോർട്ട് ടേമിൽ ഒരു സ്വിങ്സ് എടുക്കുന്ന രീതിയിലല്ല. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ലാർജ് ക്യാപ്പിലോട്ട് പോകുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ റിലയൻസ് ആണെങ്കിലും HDFC ആണെങ്കിലും ICICI ആണെങ്കിലും എല്ലാം വലിയ റണ്ണപ്പ് കഴിഞ്ഞാലാണ്. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ICICI ബാങ്ക് എടുക്കുന്ന നോക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്ന ഒരു 9% താഴെയാണ് ലാസ്റ്റ് 1 ഇയർ റിട്ടേൺ ഉള്ളൂ. HDFC നെഗറ്റീവ് റിട്ടേൺ ആണ് തോന്നുന്നത്. റിലയൻസ് 0.5 റിട്ടേൺ ആണുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ലാർജ് ക്യാപ്പിൽ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് മേ ബി ഒരു കോമ്പൗണ്ടിങ് റിട്ടേൺ ആയിരിക്കാം കിട്ടുന്നുണ്ടാവുക. അപ്പോൾ എൻ്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഇതാണ്, നമ്മൾ ഫ്യൂച്ചറിൽ വെൽത്ത് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പാകത്തിൽ ഒരു മൾട്ടി ബാഗർ റിട്ടേൺ തരുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള സ്റ്റോക്സ്, അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു സ്മോൾ ക്യാപ്പ് കമ്പനി ആയിരിക്കാം മേ ബി, അപ്പോൾ അതിനൊരു കൂടുതൽ പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ ഉണ്ടോ എന്നൊക്കെ മനസ്സിലാക്കി ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോഴാണല്ലോ നമ്മളവിടെ വെൽത്ത് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് പ്രത്യേകമായിട്ടുള്ള, അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് സ്ട്രാറ്റജീസൊക്കെ ഓൾറെഡി ഞാൻ ഫോളോ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിലോട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും എനിക്ക് ആഡ് ഓൺ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ എന്നറിയാനാണ് എൻ്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിൽ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ കുറച്ചുകൂടി എക്സ്പേർട്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകളാണല്ലോ, അപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഒപ്പീനിയൻ കിട്ടുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ബെറ്റർ ആയിരിക്കും.
പേര്
അജ്മൽ എന്നാണ്.
അജ്മൽ, ദിസ് ഐ മേക്കിംഗ് ഇറ്റ് ഇൻ മലയാളം, എക്സ്ക്യൂസ്. ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. അജ്മൽ എന്ത് മെത്തേഡാണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഇപ്പോൾ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലെറ്റ്സ് ട്രേഡിംഗ്?
ഞാൻ ആ കമ്പനി എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ്റെ സ്റ്റേജിലാണോ, എന്താണ് കമ്പനിയുടെ അതിൻ്റെ CEO അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആളുകളുടെ കമൻസ് എന്താണെന്ന് നോക്കാറുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അവരുടെ പാസ്റ്റ് ഏർണിങ്സ് എങ്ങനെയാണ്, ഏർണിംഗ് ഷെയർ, PE, അതെ ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽസ് ആണ് ഞാൻ നോക്കാറ്. ടെക്നിക്കൽസിൽ നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു മൊമെന്റ് എങ്ങനെയെന്നൊക്കെ ഉള്ളത് നോക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രമാണ് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാറുള്ളൂ, അത് കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യാറുള്ളൂ. ലോങ് ടേമിലാണ്, കാരണം നമുക്കൊരു 5x 10x റിട്ടേൺ വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാലാണ് നമുക്കൊരു വെൽത്ത് ജനറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. അതാണ്.
See, if that is the case, okay. See, if you are going to invest in the large cap, same is like you are investing in an FD. Maximum 8, 10, 12% you will earn. Okay. പക്ഷേ if you are looking at maybe a 5x or 3x, മിഡ് ക്യാപ്പ് വിൽ ബി ദ ബെസ്റ്റ് വൺ. നമ്മൾ മിഡ് ക്യാപ്പിലാണ് ഇന്ത്യൻ എക്കോണമിയുടെ മാക്സിമം ഗ്രോത്ത്. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് യു ആർ ഗോയിങ് ടു ദ സ്മോൾ ക്യാപ്പ്, യു ക്യാൻ എക്സ്പെക്ട് മോർ റിട്ടേൺസ്, but still the small cap is not that stable. Why? Because it comes with a huge risk. For example, നമ്മൾ കൊച്ചിൻ ഷിപ്പ്യാർഡിൻ്റെ ഷെയർസ്, like have you looked into it? അറിയില്ല. How many of you have invested in കൊച്ചിൻ ഷിപ്പ്യാർഡ്? Anybody? Great. What's your returns right now? അല്ലേ, ഇപ്പോൾ again it is in a correction of 1,500, but still I was having the run from 600 rupees. Okay. So ഈ പറയുന്ന മിഡ് ക്യാപ്പുകൾ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഹാവിങ് ഹ്യൂജ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ. ഇഫ് ഇന്ത്യ ഗ്രോസ്, ഈ മിഡ് ക്യാപ്പുകളെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് നല്ല റിട്ടേൺസ് തരും. ഓക്കെ. സോ ദെൻ ഹൗ വി വിൽ ഐഡൻറ്റിഫൈ ദീസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് സ്റ്റോക്സ്, അത് വലിയൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്. Surely you have to look into the technicals, but fundamentally see all the news happens and we are the ones who knew about this news only at the last. സോ എന്താ ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഫണ്ടമെൻ്റലി കമ്പനി സ്ട്രോങ് ആണോ, ഹൗ മെനി പ്രൊജക്ട്സ് ദേ ആർ റണ്ണിങ്, അല്ലേ, ലൈക്ക് ഇവരുടെ മെയിൻ കോർ ബിസിനസ് എന്താണ്, ഹൗ മെനി പ്രൊഡക്ട്സ് ദേ ആർ ഹാവിങ്, അവരുടെ മെയിൻ ബയേഴ്സ് ആരാണ്, ലൈക്ക് ഈസ് ഇറ്റ് ലൈക്ക് മോർ അക്യുമുലേറ്റഡ് ടുവേർഡ്സ് 1 or 3 ക്ലയൻസ് ആണോ അവരുടെ മേജർ ബയേഴ്സ്, ഗവൺമെൻറ്, വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദി ഇൻവോൾവ്മെൻറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഗവൺമെൻറ്, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഗവൺമെൻറ് പ്ലേസ് എ മേജർ റോൾ ഉണ്ട്, അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ ഇതെല്ലാം യു ഗോ ടു ദ ഫണ്ടമെൻ്റൽസ്. ദെൻ ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി എന്താണ്, യു ഗോ ഇൻ ടു ദ ടെക്നിക്കൽ, ആസ് യു ഹാവ് ടോൾഡ് ദാറ്റ് യു ആർ മോർ ഇൻ ടു എ സ്വിംഗ് ട്രേഡർ, റൈറ്റ്. ഇനി അതല്ല, ഇഫ് യു ലുക്കിംഗ് ഇൻ ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് 5 year or 10 year, obviously you can trust some small caps. Likewise, unlisted market under, right? Anybody holding unlisted shares right now? Unlisted shares? Okay, see, this is also a quick option to make money. For example, I hold unlisted share of Cochin, like Cochin Airport. Okay, ഞാനത് റൺ ചെയ്തത് 160 now right now in the grey market is listed around 480 to 490. So ഇതിലും obviously there is a huge risk unlisted shares ആയതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ, and certain shares are also pumped up also. So initially we have to look into the fundamentals, but ultimately എന്താണ് നമുക്കതിൻ്റെ ടെക്നിക്കൽ സൈഡും കൂടി നോക്കണം. Why? Because fundamentals, as like somebody was mentioning, like what is the importance of fundamental news in the global market. We being into the forex, we can see that a GDP result come, right? The GDP news come, it is supposed to go up, but all of a sudden the market is coming down. So fundamental reports newsകളൊക്കെ ഇപ്പോൾ വളരെ ബുൾഷിറ്റ് എന്ന് തന്നെ ഞാൻ പറയുള്ളൂ. So moreover, it's all about technical.
Actually, John, just to add on to what you have told, Sara may be excused. നിങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ച ചോദ്യം actually, you see, just to summarize it in 1 minute. So how should you invest? There are different ways. People take different philosophies. Some people take value.
ഒരു കാര്യം കൂടെ, കാരണം നമ്മൾ ഈ മൾട്ടിബാഗർ റിട്ടേൺ ആവുന്ന സ്റ്റോക്കുകൾ പലതും 5x-ഉം 10x-ഉം കഴിഞ്ഞതിന് ശേഷമാണ് പബ്ലിക് അറിയുന്നത്. പിന്നെ അതിനുശേഷം ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ബിഗീസ് അതിന് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാണ്, അവർ സെല് ചെയ്ത് പോവുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞാൽ റീറ്റെയിലേഴ്സ് പെട്ടുപോവുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്, ഇതിൻ്റെ ബിഗിനിങ് സ്റ്റേജിൽ നമുക്കത് ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ കമ്പനിയുടെ മാക്സിമം.
അതെ, അതിലേക്കാണ് ഞാൻ വരുന്നത്. അതായത് നമ്മളെപ്പോഴും ലാർജ് ക്യാപ്, മിഡ് ക്യാപ്, സ്മോൾ ക്യാപ്, മൈക്രോ ക്യാപ്, നമ്മൾ താഴോട്ട് വരുന്തോറും നമുക്ക് റിട്ടേണിനുള്ള സാധ്യത കൂടുന്നതോടുകൂടെ റിസ്കിനുള്ള സാധ്യതയും കൂടുതലാണ്. അപ്പം നമുക്ക് റിസ്ക് അപ്പറ്റൈറ്റ് കൂടുതലുള്ള ആളുകളാണ് താഴോട്ടുള്ള സെഗ്മെൻറ്റിലേക്ക് വരാൻ പറ്റുക. താഴെ നമ്മൾ ഇഫ് യു ആർ പിക്കിംഗ് സം മൈക്രോ ക്യാപ്, ഒബ്വിയസ്ലി ദർ ഈസ് എ പോസിബിലിറ്റി ദാറ്റ് വി ആർ ഏബിൾ ടു മേക്ക് സം ഹ്യൂമങ്കസ് amount of return. If you go to the large cap segment, obviously you can expect only a compounding return, not some multi cap return. അങ്ങനെ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പോൾ if you have a good understanding, if you have a good knowledge to analyze companies and sectors, then actually you can pick some. There are different ways. To give you an example, just for a disclaimer, this panel discussion is not to suggest some X company you should invest now. അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെൻറ്റ് അഡ്വൈസ് അല്ല. We are just analyzing. Yes, company is better than Y. No, that's not we are saying. We are just analyzing. So just one way, you must have heard of Saurabh Mukherjee. He is a renowned investor, masterless investment manager. So he has something called as investment philosophy. He call it as coffee can investing. So where the point which he picks, he looks at the competitive advantage. ഒരു കമ്പനിക്ക് ആ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ ഓപ്പറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റീവ് അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് ഉണ്ടോ? അതായത് ആ കമ്പനീൻ്റെ ബിസിനസ് മോഡൽ പെട്ടെന്ന് വേറൊരു കമ്പനിക്ക് ഈസി ആയിട്ട് കോപ്പി ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ കമ്പനിക്ക് കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റീവ് അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് ഇല്ല. അപ്പം അതുപോലെ വേറെ 2, 3, 4 കമ്പനികൾ മാർക്കറ്റിൽ വരും. പിന്നെ ഈ കമ്പനിക്ക് വലിയൊരു റിട്ടേൺ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പോൾ അദ്ദേഹം പരിഗണിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പോയിന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് കോമ്പറ്റീറ്റീവ് അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജ് ഉണ്ടാവുക ആ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഓരോരുത്തർക്കും ഓരോ സ്റ്റൈല് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു മെത്തേഡ് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ, നമ്മൾ ഒരു ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെൻറ്റിന് പരിഗണിക്കുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ സ്മോൾ ക്യാപ്പ് ആണെങ്കിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മൈക്രോ ക്യാപ്പ് ആണെങ്കിലോ, യു ലുക്ക് അറ്റ് ദാറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി. ആ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയെ പറ്റി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കണം. ദാറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഷുഡ് ബി എമർജിങ്. ദാറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി ഷുഡ് ഗിവ് യു സം growth stories, maybe some sustainability, maybe some EV story, maybe some electric, some solar energy or something. Emerging theme ആയിരിക്കണം. ഓൾഡ് ഏജ് തീമിൽ സം FMCG സ്റ്റോക്കിലൊന്നും ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് മൾട്ടി ഫോൾഡ് റിട്ടേൺ ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ കഴിയില്ല. എപ്പോഴും അടുത്ത മേ ബി നെക്സ്റ്റ് 1 decade 2 decadeലേക്ക് അതൊരു എമർജിങ് തീമായിരിക്കണം. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി വളരെ റെലവൻ്റ് ആയിരിക്കണം. ഫ്രം ദാറ്റ് ഇൻഡസ്ട്രി യു പിക്ക് സം പ്ലേയേഴ്സ് ഹു ആർ ആക്ച്വലി റിയലി capable. They have the capability, they have the expertise, they have a good management, they have a good fundamentals. Then along with that, so considering all the fundamental checks, then you should also look at the technical part. You should not be investing at the top high. We are having high PE. That will actually demolish your wealth. Then actually technical comes the next. Then you just to summarize it up, don't compromise your fundamental parts. You should be thorough about that. Then you should also consider the technical parts. So there should always be some emerging themes or some story, the industry you are picking the stock from. I hope that I have answered you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so with that, I guess we could wrap up the question answer sessions. But however, panelists will be available, I suppose, even if in case they would want to have interaction. So our panelists will definitely be available for you. So with that, let us wrap up the session. You can kindly make your closing remarks, sir.
Yeah, so we are actually more or less done. Just to, I have actually recently summarized it, what Sara has told and also what John has added. Just to summarize it up, you see, if you are looking to invest in the global market, so first you learn, then earn, right? So you should not be, pouring your entire life saving into the market without having the ABC of the market. There is a high probability that you will lose everything. So first comes the learning, then comes the earning. The learning should also be from the credible sources. You should not be watching 1 or 2 YouTube video. Sab samajh mein aa gaya, main jaake invest karta hu. Ye nahi hona chahiye. This should not be the case, right? So you should learn first, then earning comes the next, obviously. Then in the international market, obviously you should stay away from all the scams and all. There are some fraud people, we really don't know whether they are properly regulated or not. So when you choose a broker or a platform, you should look at their credibility. Obviously, you should be aware of the global geopolitical dynamics and the growth story which you are investing to pick. So that you should be aware of. Obviously, the learning part will take care of everything. I think that's something.
Thank you so much. So that was an absolutely comprehensive summary of the stocks and international markets, and what an eye-opening session. Thank you so much, all three of you. And may I now humbly request you to kindly let us express our love and gratitude for such a invigorating session. And for that, may I now humbly request the Investment Director of Caspace Impact, Mr. Emmanuel Murray, to kindly join with us and hand over this token of deep gratitude to Ms. Sara Ahmadi for all the wonderful information that you have brought in today. And especially it was very interesting to have heard her talk about the butterfly effect within the financial market. Ms. Sara Ahmadi, kindly accept this gratitude token from our end. And thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. And may I humbly encourage all of you to kindly put your hands together. Yes, let us show our appreciation. And with that, let me invite onto the stage yet another founding member of the Money Conclave 2024, Mr. Abhijit Preman and FCA, to kindly join with us and hand over our souvenir to Mr. John Joy Panackal. And what a great lesson to repeat again: before earning, you should start learning. A great takeaway from Money Conclave 2024, the Global Investment and Wealth Summit. And lastly, let me, with all due respect, invite on to the stage Mr. Sahad A. Kareem to kindly hand over our gratitude, the token of gratitude to Mr. Abdul Latheef Sheikh for having conducted a very vast session. I must say the stock and the international market session have covered a vast topic. And to talk about Mr. Sahar, he is a chairman for Nurji India and MD of Jai Bharat Group. Thank you so much once again. And may I now humbly request all three of you to kindly join together for a group photograph. And my dear people, my dear attendees of the Money Conclave 2024, it would be really great of you if you could kindly put your hands and make some loud energetic noise from your end. Your way of expressing all that knowledge that you have, they have passed on to you right now. Thank you so much.